Hello, this is Prashant Mokshya. Welcome to everyone. Today, let's analyze a psychological pattern why basically a relationship fails. Some friends are asking me questions regarding that why a relationship fails in their life because it's a phenomenon like that. The rate of people being in a relationship and the rate in which people are breaking the relationship, especially the young girls and boys, is pretty predominant, and the ratio is pretty high. So let's understand the why today's relationships are failing. To understand that, let's understand how relationship is started in today's time. As a human being, as a person, when we grow up, our body, our organs are also grow up in the similar fashion. When we enter onto the age of 15, around 14 and 15, our sexual organ also grow up in such a way, they start to grow in such a way that the physiology, the chemistry inside our body starts changing. That starts to implicate on a sudden change in our feeling. As a children, as a very young person, there is different type of desire. But when you enter onto the state of teenage, then starts the desire of sex. From that very time, there starts to be like the law of attraction. There starts to happen to be the law of attraction, which means a female will be attracted to a male and male will be attracted to female. Doing so, having so, they indulge. At first they were not experienced, so they indulge in some kind of relationship. But when they actually go to the relation and start to know each other very closely, there is a high risk of chance that they feel awkward or they feel like unmatching to one another and they broke up initially because they were not experienced on that scene. So when it's a very difficult life, being alone, living alone is a one set of life, but sharing life together, your every moment, if that is not every moment physically, but in a connection, with chatting or in a telephone or in a meeting in a school or in a classroom, it's everyday routine, sharing the breakfast, sharing the lunch, or sharing the many incidents happening in life that cause some stir, because if there is no tuning on the way of living, then that will cause a stir in person's life, by which they start to feel detached to one another, detracted to one another, and the relationship falls. That happens in pretty unexperienced relationship. But the problem is that they will learn from that mistake, the initial mistake, and they may have to move in a different direction. But the problem is when you get 20, when you get 21 or 24, still you go to the relationship, you commit to a relationship, and when you have a pretty close intimate relationship, after some months you get detracted and you want to break up with that person. Why that happened? That is a very psychological, very baffling psychological mystery to everyone, but it's not that complicated. Because we do not understand, when we start relationship, we do not understand what brings with the relationship. That is the reason the expectation of ours in a relationship is very high, but the properties, but the characteristic that brings within the relationship is very intimate, very personal. So if you do not have an in tune type of personal life to in any fashion, then there will be surely a distraction, or there will be certainly a discomfort between one another. That's why basically relationship fails. So let's start like when you commit to a relationship, how you expect how your psychological pattern goes through, and when you are in relationship how it continue, and when you broke up how you go through. When you start, you felt like a girl told me like she felt like she been betrayed for many times, she been betrayed for by many guys, still she felt she need someone in the life to be happy. Because why does that happen? Because you are like accustomed to the scenario that if you have known in your life, you feel something unusual in your life, because you are accustomed being in relationship, accustomed being with someone. So when you fail that, when you break up with someone after some month, initially the hangover of that breakup will detach you, will distract you from being in relationship. But after some month, when you get normalized again, then you start to feel lonely, because like you always believe that the happiness you are getting, the happiness you've been in your life is because of someone else. That is pretty wrong. That the concept of happiness being given by other is one of the devastating concepts people will think or people will assume in their life. No happiness can be given by other. Only the happiness you yourself have, you yourself possess, can be manifested through others. That doesn't mean like without someone else you can't be happy in life. That very concept and the desire to have physical relationship, because like when the sexual hormone starts like pumping in your body and like indulge you some sexual desire, at that time you need some safe landing, you need some partner with whom you can have such like sexual pleasure. So doing so, you want to be in relationship, because like you do not want to have like change a partner every day, risking, because in Nepal or like in the country of developing country, the concept is one man, one life, one marriage or one relationship. Basically, that's the concept. Even in Western life, people are like where there is pretty open-minded people, still they do not want to like indulge in multiple relationships due to the like due to the burden it brings you throughout the life. So like then you start to have relationship, but the mystery of sexual relationship is when you do not have anything, there is always attraction. But when you start to have that, then there starts like a sudden hidden desire or hidden intuitive thought process of distraction. Sorry, that happens every time. So people, again, one is like to feel lonely and to be in relationship, another is like satisfying your sexual desire. In both cases, the burden it brings to be in relationship is pretty high. Then the pleasure you go through the relationship. So that is the reason why you quit, why you want to like break up with the person you've been in a relationship. And the third is you want to experiment or you want to give a chance. That is the worst logic. Some guy told me or some girl told me, many girls and many guys told me like they want to give chance to the life and they want to explore as if it is like hidden mystery. When you know a person at the first time, that very moment, if you do not get in tune, like you missed, like you dissolve to one another, then there is huge chance of like distraction or huge chance of like detachment. Because if only like why is the reason that only about pretty like some 5% or 3% relationships succeed? Because the relationship in which both male and female get dissolved to one another without any reason. There mustn't be reason. Like you are very attracted to a guy, you are very attracted to a girl, the guy is very rich or the guy is very handsome, anything else. If there is any reason in any relationship, mind it, it will break up. So be careful before indulging in a relationship. There mustn't be any reason. The very moment you meet a person, you need to have a sense of dissolving. You need to have a sense of losing yourself to the person. If you do so, if you become that person, if you get dissolved on that person, there's a high chance of being successful in a relationship. Otherwise, there is pretty damn chances that you will get distracted, you will get detracted after some time. Because if there is any reason to be in relationship, then when that reason gets solved, then the desire for relationship will also get dissolved. By that time, you will get detracted with the relationship. And then what happens is like you broke up when you get detracted, when you get detached, when you want like that person more in your life, you want to break up. And the time of broke up, the mistake most of the people do is they start to blame themselves. That is the mistake. So like doing so, when you settle with the like hangover of the relationship, again you want to commit to the relationship. Because you feel guilty of yourself for breaking that relationship. In any way, you start to sort the reason why did you break up with the person, and doing so, you will feel or you will like claim yourself guilty. And when you think you are the guilty, then you want to give chance to another person. But you must understand, relationships do not fall because of the single reason or because of single person. Relationship means a compromise, but the compromise must be in a sense that it must get in tune. Without getting in tune, without getting dissolved, the compromise in a relationship is vague, it's meaningless. So the nuances of a successful relationship is, when you meet a person, first instance, you must feel like you dissolve with the person. Without any reason, without being attracted, without being like feeling anything, you must feel first hour of meeting must be like you dissolve to that person. You do not like get very attracted or you do not feel like some very lonely, so you desperately need someone and you want to like patch up with the guy. That is very dangerous, because that ultimately will lead you to the broken relationship. So if you want a successful relationship, I'll give you a three points to be how successful. First is, go or commit to only such relationship which or where you get dissolved to the person you are committed to. Second, when you are in relationship, stop thinking about the expectation you have to the person, because nothing is perfect in this world. If you expect something very good of the person, of your partner, then you must possess such quality as such good to give for him. So it's a balance act. If you do not have such and if you expect, then the confrontation happens. And by any means, if you broke up with the person, then never think it's only because of you. Then you start to lose the subjectivity, then you start to lose the rationale of why you broke up. So when you're going to start a new relationship, you should have a clear frame of mind why you broke up, what is the reason of breaking up, that you shouldn't give whole like discredit or credit to yourself for breaking the relationship. If you do so, then there is a high chance you could have a better relationship and you could get a pretty happy life if you want to commit in a relationship. Thank you very much.